Hey everyone, it's Amy, known as the Skin and Lash Lady, licensed esthetician, and this is volume 6 of Skin Talk. And I get asked all the time of, Amy, what do I look for when I'm looking to find an esthetician? And that's an excellent question if you wouldn't know. So I kind of made myself a little list so I can stay on task and not babble so much. So I'm going to give you, first of all, this. Every state has different laws of what an esthetician can and cannot do. So I'm just going to say a lot of things in general, but if you move from one state to another and find that you can't find a certain service, most likely it's because it's not available as an esthetician. So I like to classify like the spa business into these 4 categories. One is the resort spa, one is the chain spa, one is the solo practitioner, which is me, and then there's a med spa. So the resort spa, this is my personal favorite. You're on a cruise, you're away at a resort, and they have a spa. And these are really, I like to call them fluffy facials. First of all, you're only going to see this esthetician once, and they're really made for relaxation and to restore you. They're usually very luxurious, and there's usually like the most beautiful spa and a big fluffy robe and the most emollient serums and creams. And it's not about treatment, it's more about relaxing and just being refreshed. I call those the resort spa. Then you have chain spas such as Massage Envy and Lifestream, and I don't know what could be in your areas, and they are fine. They usually hire a lot of recent grads, but I have a friend that works there and she's been working at one for a really long time. And you can get basic standard services on their set menu. And a lot of times you will be sold product because it's part of the estheticians make commission on it. So sometimes it's a little bit of a hard sell. But there are some high-end spas like Woodhouse Day Spa that are wonderful. But please understand that that's their business model for the estheticians. And there's nothing wrong with them. And many times they are much more budget friendly and they'll sell packages or memberships. Then there's people like me, solo estheticians. This, of course, is my favorite, simply because we have to really know what we're doing to be out on our own. We don't have a resort selling our service. We don't have a chain or a big marketing company and several locations that are promoting us. So we tend to work by word of mouth, or networking is what I've done, as well as word of mouth. And we usually specialize in certain things. So I am not an acne specialist. I specialize in microcurrent. However, a lot of solo estheticians have a broad spectrum. So you have to research it. And most of us will offer, and always ask if you don't see it on their menu, do you offer a complimentary consultation? I always offer a 30-minute consultation, so you get a chance to meet with me and I get to meet with you. We get to do a quick analysis of the skin to really find out what we want to accomplish. This is a partnership, whether you're coming in with hyperpigmentation, acne, anti-aging, whatever it is, because we need to be on board together. We're a partnership. I need to make sure that your home care is on point and what I'm doing in the treatment room is going to get you to that goal. This is not one facial and I'm done and I'm fixed. Most of the time, people don't realize it takes several sessions to achieve the goal. You don't go to the gym once and get 6-pack abs. And it's the same thing with skincare. So you want to make sure that you have somebody that can understand where your goals are, work with you, that your schedules link up, that it's affordable, all these other things, and that you're going to have a really good relationship. That's really important. And then there's a med spa. And the med spas usually cover things that are not in the scope of our practice, such as lasers and injectables and much more advanced peels. And every state is different. And many med spas also employ estheticians to do also regular facials. But they usually focuses on the medical side of skincare, which involves deeper peels, lasers, and injectables. Okay, so that's just the overview. So now you've decided and you found your esthetician, or you found your skin lady, right? And you've set up your appointment and it's time to come in and what to expect. Well, if you came into my spa, the first thing is I'm going to ask you, please go to the bathroom, because once we start, I prefer not to be interrupted. I also tell clients that please come with no jewelry. It takes time to take off a lot of necklaces, and if you have something that's really valuable, I want to make sure that nothing happens to it. So we always ask, please come with no jewelry, and if something is very valuable to you, leave it at home. The other thing I'm going to ask of you is to shut off your cell phone or leave it on vibrate. Many times I have clients that come in and they may say, Amy, my kid's home sick and my husband's watching and, nervous mom, no problem. Or like me, I have elderly parents, I need to leave my phone on. But I am not there to answer your text because I'm not touching your phone because I need to keep my hands clean and not be touching your phone. And I need to focus on my work of working on your skin. And this is a time for you to relax and shut the world off. Have a nap. So I always tell everybody, please put your phone away. You don't need it with you on the spa bed. Take a break from it. You need to have that rest. It would be great. Just take a power nap. Okay. One other thing that I always ask my clients is please don't come immediately after the gym from hot yoga or working out because you are dehydrated and the skin is still trying to cool down and you're not going to get a good result for certain treatments. And also, don't come if you just came right from the pool or being in the sun here in South Florida. That's very common. Also because if the skin has some sunburn on it, I can't work on you. So if you have any questions, always call the place that you're going. And also, a lot of clients will come in for skincare and all of a sudden they'll say, oh, can you wax my eyebrows? Please tell us before we start because we need to do waxing before we do your skin. And also remember, if you're on Retin-A, you need to be off of that if you're getting certain protocols done, including waxing. So always check in with your practitioner to let them know if there's some other heads up. So you come in and I always request you change into a spa robe. Now I do have clients that kind of resist and I tell them, listen, I need to work on you from here to here. And this is a private environment and it's safe because it's easier for me to work. It's hard for me when people say, can you just put a towel on me? Well, things can soak through a towel and sometimes that collar can poke through and I really need to work on this whole area. So as much as sometimes my clients, and I have a couple of modest clients are like up to here all the time with clothing, it's really best if you remove your clothing. And I also don't be responsible for anything spilling on your personal clothing. Same thing with your hair. Don't come for a facial right after you had a Brazilian blowout or a hair straightening treatment or just had your hair done. Once again, it's one of those things that people will say, I can't get steam or I can't get my hair wet. And you know what? I lots of times do scalp massage or you're restricting me from working. So please take these things into consideration that, make it easier for me to work to give you the best treatment at your time. So now you're in the room and you're all snuggled in the bed, but it may be too hot or too cold. Now, I always ask my clients, are you comfortable? And that means, is the temperature okay? And if you're hot or cold at any time during the service, please let the esthetician know. We can always put on an extra blanket. Some of us have heated tables. We could take off a blanket. We want you to be comfortable. And that's the same thing for when you're laying on the table. I always like to think that I'm the customer. I have severe vertigo and I have a bad back. Two things that I cannot lay flat on a massage table. So a lot of lash artists and estheticians have these flat tables. So that's a problem. So always ask if that is a problem. Can you have something to prop up your head or something under your knees? Most of us have bolsters and stuff that we can do these things. But I know for me that was a problem. So I had a very expensive table that's adjustable. But always speak up because we usually have ways that we can move you and make you a little bit more comfortable. You shouldn't have to lay for an hour in a facial and be uncomfortable. A few other things. I'm trying to think. I wrote everything down and now my list is empty. So we covered the jewelry. Oh, many times clients, if you're new, some people say, do I have to keep my eyes closed? No. Now there are sometimes I'll say, listen, I need to do some massage here, so close your eyes. And I will always ask somebody, do you want me to explain to you every step? And if the esthetician doesn't say that, you could say, can you explain to me what you're doing? Many times I'll be applying a mask or a product that may be hot or cold, and I don't want to startle you. So I may say, I'm going to apply a mask now, and it's very cold, and that's normal. So if somebody applies something to your skin and it feels hot or tingly or uncomfortable, always ask them or say, is it supposed to feel tingly? Is it supposed to feel hot? This feels uncomfortable to me. Let the esthetician know that what you're feeling so they can either say, oh, that's normal, or that's not normal and let me remove it. The same thing if the steam is bothering you too much. Some people get claustrophobic under steam, or if a towel is making you feel claustrophobic, let the technician know. You don't have to sit there and suffer. Okay, I've had clients that you could see that they're uncomfortable. So I've learned to always check in with the client unless they're asleep to say, is everything going okay? So now when it comes to extractions, some people will say they're really painful. And sometimes we can't help that because sometimes it is uncomfortable. And many times when I do extractions, there's only so much that I can work at one time on the skin. And many times I'll have to say, there's just too many extractions here. We only have like a certain window that the skin is pliable. And I'll say, we may need to book a second facial closer in because I can't work on the skin anymore. We kind of know, like people think like we can just extract for hours and we really can't. And many times I've had clients that are so super congested on skin that I know that I just have to stop and maybe have them come back. So I think we've covered the jewelry. Don't come in when your hair is done. Be on time. You can ask questions. Oh, another thing. If somebody ever asks me, can you show me the bottle? And I'll say, sure, here's the product that I'm using. Some people want to read the ingredient, and I always have the booklet for my product line. But a lot of times people want to take a picture of it. So for example, this particular product is not available to the public. So it's a little rude, and I don't mean to point it out, but people think that they can just come in, snap a picture of the product, and go online and buy it. That leads me to another thing. So many times I'll tell clients to say, listen, we're trying to get your hyperpigmentation under control, and I really need you to purchase this product to use at home. And some people will pass on it, and then they're searching it at home for a different price. And they'll come back in and say, I bought that on Amazon and it doesn't work. And usually I'll say, it could be counterfeit or it could be expired. So I know that people think that Amazon is the end all be all when it comes to skincare, but that's not always the case. So please, if a esthetician is suggesting a product that she retails for home use, give it some thought and give her the business or him the business, because usually the product is legitimate, and we're also going to explain to you how to use it. Which leads me to the final thing, is that if you have anything done at any of these places and it requires home care, that they're giving it to you and writing it down. Many times I have clients that will say to me, can you text me the home care? Or I just write it down and say to them, here, you need to follow this. So if you lose the paper or even if you forget, don't hesitate to follow up and say, hey, can you give me that home care again? And also, if something happened and you had a massive breakout or severe redness the next day, it's important to call back, not accusatory. I had a client that I did not realize that she had a rash the next day, but her friend who I do her skin told me. So I called her and I said, I heard you're getting a rash. That's not normal. What does it look like? And she happened to take a picture and send it to me. And I realized that it was the enzyme that I was using on her. She never told me when I asked her, is she allergic to something? Because I'm allergic to pineapple and papaya and all this. And she said no. She never thought about it or maybe didn't realize it. So when she came in, I used something else to avoid that problem. So a lot of times it's just that it may not have been communicated or you may not have known, but it's not always the fault of the esthetician or the person. Who would have known if, like she said, I've never eaten papaya. How would I know if I was allergic to it? And we found out that she can't have any enzyme. So I said to her, if you ever go for a facial somewhere, please let the esthetician know that you cannot have any bromelain on your skin because this is what happens. So live and learn and all that. But enjoy your experience. Please don't hesitate to ask me any questions and I'll make a video on it. And don't forget, you need to wash your face.